It's Friday, September 27th, 2024, and I'm Dave Soul. 4 things to know today. Fortune 100 firms unknowingly hire North Korean workers, exposing critical gaps in cybersecurity hiring practices. Perfect storm or negligence. Crowdstrike's outage highlights the potential shift in cyber liability as they testify before Congress. If your AI does the crime, you'll do the time. The DOJ's new compliance guidelines targeting AI risks, and from mobile voting to AI ROI. Big ideas driving technology, security, and trust. This is the business of tech. Remember me covering KnowBe4 hiring a North Korean remotely? Turns out they aren't alone. In a report by Mandiant, dozens of Fortune 100 companies have unknowingly hired North Korean IT workers using fake identities. Often based in China or Russia, these workers gain access to sensitive systems, raising concerns about cyber attacks. The report highlights the need for companies to implement stricter hiring practices, including thorough background checks and verification of identities. U.S. law enforcement has initiated actions against those facilitating this scheme, which has reportedly generated significant revenue for the North Korean regime. Conversely, over the past year, over half of organizations have faced cyber threats, with 37% of surveyed IT and cybersecurity professionals reporting job losses due to cyber attacks. Larger companies are significantly more affected, and these incidents contribute to both direct dismissals and broader layoffs. Enable's data indicates a 56% increase in disaster recovery events from Microsoft 365 domains in 2024, alongside a rise in backups among partners to enhance ransomware resilience. The report highlights over 3,400 cyber alerts in the first half of 2024, emphasizing the growing threat landscape. Managed service providers increasingly focus on backup services, with a 46% increase in protected Microsoft 365 users and a significant rise in data backed up, underscoring the critical need for robust data protection strategies. Why do we care? These insights highlight the critical importance of viewing cybersecurity through a holistic lens, addressing not just the technical aspects, but the human, organizational, and strategic factors that underpin true resilience. For IT service providers, this includes offering tools and services that support companies in vetting remote workers, particularly those in sensitive IT roles. This could involve partnerships with identity verification services or developing in-house solutions that integrate directly with HR systems. And beyond technical solutions, companies need guidance on organizational resilience. This involves incident response planning, training programs, and the integration of AI-driven risk assessment tools that help identify weak points in both technology and personnel structures. Crowdstrike was in front of Congress this week. While CEO George Kurtz declined to participate, Crowdstrike's senior vice president, Adam Myers, testified before lawmakers instead. Myers explained during the hearing that a perfect storm of issues led to the incident, stemming from a mismatch in update parameters. CrowdStrike has since implemented new safeguards and committed $60 million in customer credits, while lawmakers demanded accountability for the outage's impact on consumers. The company emphasized that an outage was not due to a cyber attack and updated its testing processes to prevent future occurrences. Lawmakers emphasized the need for accountability in cybersecurity and discussed potential legal reforms to hold software providers liable for negligence. Jen Easterly, director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, said in an interview that she's been speaking to members of the Homeland Security Committee and others about a plan that would permit lawsuits to hold software providers legally liable for gross negligence, supplemented by significant safe harbor provisions that would exempt companies following good practices. Why do we care? The scrutiny on CrowdStrike and the broader discussions about holding software providers legally liable for negligence reflects a pivotal moment in the cybersecurity landscape. The message is clear: accountability and transparency are no longer optional. Here's the other insight. This isn't a security incident. There's no attacker to blame. This is all CrowdStrike, and it might just mean an actual change to liability. And speaking of regulation, The U.S. Department of Justice has updated its evaluation of corporate compliance program guidelines to include the use of AI, emphasizing that companies must assess AI's potential for harm and include and ensure compliance with criminal laws. Compliance officers are now expected to address questions regarding AI's impact on legal compliance and mitigate risks associated with its use. Companies will be held accountable for any illegal actions facilitated by AI, highlighting the need for proactive monitoring and risk management in their compliance programs. The National Institute of Standards and Technology is proposing new cybersecurity guidelines focusing on identity proofing and fraud detection for credential service providers. Key updates include expanded identity verification methods, continuous monitoring, and AI and machine learning transparency requirements to mitigate bias. The guidelines aim to enhance security against sophisticated cyber threats, particularly in government systems, and organizations are encouraged to adopt AI governance programs to comply with these standards. CISA warns of ongoing cyber threats to U.S. water systems following a cybersecurity incident in Arkansas City, Kansas, which forced a switch to manual operations. The agency emphasizes the vulnerability of operational technology and industrial control systems, urging water system operators to implement security recommendations. Water industry groups last year partnered with Republican lawmakers to stop federal efforts to protect water systems, despite significant increases in the number of ransomware attacks and nation-state intrusions. The EU's AI Pact has over 100 signatories, including Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI. It aims to foster voluntary commitments to AI governance and compliance with the AI Act. Apple and Meta are absent, with Meta focusing on the AI Act itself. The pact encourages companies to adopt AI strategies, identify high-risk systems, and promote AI literacy. Penalties for non-compliance with the AI Act can be significant, prompting companies to consider their participation carefully. I'll note Axios covered how Apple faces significant challenges in complying with the EU's new digital antitrust rules, specifically regarding interoperability for its iPhone and iPad operating systems. The European Commission has initiated proceedings to enforce these requirements under the Digital Markets Act, giving Apple 6 months to adapt or risk fines. While Apple has made minor adjustments, such as easing App Store restrictions, these changes are seen as insufficient, raising concerns about the company's ability to operate in the EU. Why do we care? The headline was great. If your AI does the crime, you'll do the time. The DOJ's updated guidelines, NIST cybersecurity proposals, and the EU's AI Act all emphasize the need for enhanced compliance frameworks. Lots of big ideas this week. This one made me ponder security and authentication. In Politico, tech investor Bradley Tusk advocates for mobile voting to enhance democratic participation, arguing it could increase voter turnout and reduce political polarization. While critics raise concerns about security and privacy, Tusk highlights successful pilot programs that improved turnout and maintained election integrity. He envisions mobile voting becoming more widespread by next year or 2026, suggesting it should complement existing voting methods rather than replace them. Over in Forbes, Mihir Shuka writes about getting ROI on AI. To achieve ROI from AI, organizations must break down enterprise silos and adopt integrated systems that enhance collaboration and data sharing. This involves establishing clear data ownership protocols, forming cross-functional teams, setting common goals, and embracing change management principles to ensure a cohesive transformation. Without this approach, investments in AI may yield minimal productivity returns, similar to past technology adoptions. And I considered this one in legislation, but it hasn't happened yet. The Deep View looks at the Content Authenticity Initiative led by Adobe, aimed at ensuring the authenticity of AI-generated content. It highlights the challenges posed by deepfakes and the need for transparency in digital content. The initiative includes the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, which seeks to establish standards for content origin and history. Despite the vulnerabilities of watermarking, the initiative combines secure metadata, watermarking, and fingerprinting to enhance content security. I like unexpected outcomes. CNN looks at self-service kiosks at McDonald's and other fast food chains, which were initially feared as job killers, but have instead increased kitchen staff workload and encouraged customers to order more. While kiosks aim to enhance sales and service speed, they've led to complexities in restaurant operations and have not universally improved efficiency. Some locations have seen kiosks underutilized, and their implementation has not resulted in significant job losses, as roles have shifted rather than diminished. The impact of kiosks mirrors that of other self-service technologies, suggesting a need for better communications about their benefits to both customers and employees. And I wanted to ensure I highlighted Sam Altman's post this week, titled The Intelligence Age. He anticipates a leap forward in prosperity, significantly accelerated over a few thousand days to superintelligence. Why do we care? Well, this is all designed to give you something to think about over the weekend. I look forward to hearing your feedback. Looking to reach an audience of thousands of MSPs and IT service providers? Put your ad right here on the Business of Tech and be on the show that 64% of MSPs report having listened to. A recurring top 50 tech news podcast, there are affordable options for you to reach our audience, and we can support any budget. Podcast listeners are more engaged, have a higher level of brand retention, and are more willing to listen to ads here than any other avenues. Want to know more? There's information at mspradio.com/engage, including a button to book a time to talk. I'm looking forward to that discussion. Thanks for listening. Today, National Chocolate Milk Day and National Corned Beef Hash Day. I'll be doing 2 live broadcasts as part of SMB Tech Fest on October 17th and 18th, so make sure to sign up and join the event. smbtechfest.com/go/Sobel, link in the show notes. This weekend, in the podcast feed, I'll drop the live show with Howard Cohen, and we got into citizen AI, being an IT toolsmith, and the post-verticalization world. This weekend, you'll also get my interview with Eric O'Neill, famous for his key role in apprehending spy Robert Hansen and what espionage teaches us about cybersecurity. If you got a comment or a thought on a story, put it in the comments if you're on YouTube, or reach out on LinkedIn if you're listening to the podcast. Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you again on Monday. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. If you like the content, please make sure to hit that like button, follow, or subscribe. It's free and easy and the best way to support the show and help us grow. You can also check out our Patreon, where you can join the Business of Tech community at patreon.com/MSP Radio, or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. Finally, if you're interested in advertising on the show, visit mspradio.com/engage. Once again, thanks for listening to me, and I will talk to you again on our next episode of The Business of Tech.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.